Search Assistant found a huge childcare center in Frisco, Texas that you can buy with $370,000 down and net $1.5 million after making your loan payments. This assumes you use a 10-year, 11.5% interest, 5% down SBA loan to buy this $7.4 million business that's advertising $2.8 million in annual cash flow. Now, first thing we note is that this business is listed above the $5 million SBA max. This means you'd have to use a lender willing to do what's called a pari passu loan, which means they're gonna do up to a $2.5 million loan on top of the $5 million from the SBA. So a few lenders out there that will do that. I think this business can support the debt service coverage ratio required to do that, but they're gonna require 5%. I don't think you can get a 2.5% down deal on that structure. So we really like the childcare space. It's something that we feel like a lot of people can understand. It's something that people need, not want. The demand far outpaces the supply. Now, of course, the negative there is that the reason the demand outpaces the supply is that it's really hard to find employees. There's a lack of employees in the childcare providing space. The other risk is that this is a huge fixed cost business, meaning a lot of your expenses are set no matter how many kids you have in the facility, no matter what your revenue number is. So meaning that if you ran a facility that, say, had a capacity for 100 kids, your expense base is probably the same if you have 100 kids or if you have 70 kids. You still have to pay your rent, you still have to pay the mortgage if you own the building, you still have to pay your administrative staff, and you're probably not gonna be able to run with fewer teachers. So if you've got a room that's licensed for 10 to 1, so 10 students to 1 teacher, if you have 7 in the classroom, you still have to have 1 teacher. You don't get to cut that staff. So it's really hard to manage those numbers up and down with enrollment. So basically, if you own a 100-child facility, 85 of those kids cover your costs, and then 15 are your profit. If you lose any of those 15, that comes directly out of your profit. So if you lose a family of 3, that's gonna hurt. Now, that's in general. I just used 100 just to make the numbers easy. I'm gonna guess this facility is significantly larger than that, just by giving the numbers that they have a lot more than 100 kids there. And generally, with all businesses, we generally prefer larger over smaller. We'd rather own a 300-child facility than a 30-child facility. So if we just go back to that family of 3, you lose a family of 3 because they get relocated. That's 1% of your students in a 300-student facility, and it's 10% in a 30-student facility. And the more kids you have, the more you can spread out the administrative costs. That's really the only area that you get any operating leverage. A 300-student facility is gonna have more administrative expenses than a 30-student facility, but it's not gonna be 10x more. It might be 2 times more or 3 times more. So you do get some operating leverage on at least that expense. So I feel like I sounded kind of negative here. We actually really like childcare facilities. We would love to own this one with a partner in particular. So we're not negative on the space. We just want people to be aware of the risk going in. So reach out if you want to buy a business together, or check out our search assistant to find a business like this one.